Hey, you guys. Welcome back to what I am now calling Mondays with Alisha. So, I want to stay consistent with doing these live episodes every Monday. So, I figured the best way for me to do that is to brand it. So, welcome back to Mondays with Alisha. So, if you struggle with staying consistent with your content, no matter how hard you try, then this week's episode is definitely going to be for you. So, for those who may be new here, I'm Alisha Robertson. I am a business coach and also the founder of the Purpose to Service Academy, where I help overworked and overwhelmed coaches and online service providers to launch their signature offer and serve their clients with less stress and more intention. So before we dive in, I want to use this weekly kind of series that I've created to answer your questions. So if you have a burning business question, if you are a coach or an aspiring coach or an online service provider or an aspiring online service provider, and you're like, I just wish I had someone to ask this question to, or someone I wish I had to be able to pick their brain, I'm going to use this series just for that. So if you have a burning business question that you have been needing to get off of your chest and get some answers to, I want you to click the link in my bio to submit the forms for this series. So I'll even give you a little shout out. So submit the form, click the link in my bio to submit all of your business questions. All right, so this week I want to talk about content, but specifically I want to talk about staying consistent with your content. So creating good content is how I have been able to grow my business over the past 5 years or 7 years that I have been in this coaching space. So I actually started out as a blogger, which a lot of people don't know. I started out as just a lifestyle blogger who was just blogging about her journey as a new business owner. So little, in history, I launched my very first business, which was an online shop. So I was using my blog at the time to talk about my journey as a new business owner. So just talking about things that I experienced, my new ideas, all of that, just as a way to really just document my journey. But I then started to shift into talking more strategically about how I was actually building my business. So the more I learned, I started sharing more tips about how I was branding myself, how I was selling my products, some more tips and strategies, and even sharing some big aha moments that were really working for me at that time. And because of me just being consistent with sharing my journey, sharing those tips, sharing those strategies, being very transparent about what I was going through at the time, my coaching business was pretty much handed to me. I did not set out to be a business coach. It was pretty much just given to me because of that consistent content that I was creating. So because of that content, more people began asking me about business related questions, which eventually turned into me charging for coaching sessions. And I have been coaching for over 7 years now, and I'm really just now getting to a point where I am needing to try out different marketing strategies and really put more effort into marketing. So for a long time, the majority or all of my clients came from people just finding me through the content that I was creating consistently, and also referrals and repeat clients as well. So I'm literally just now getting to a point where I'm like, all right, let me actually put more emphasis and more focus into different ways that I can market my business. And I've been doing this for 7 years, y'all. So the content that I was creating years ago really helped me to build my authority. So made sure that I was positioning myself as someone who actually knew what she was talking about in my industry. It also helped me to build trust with my audience. So if people were getting big aha moments from my free content, if I was answering some of their problems through my free content, that was building the trust that then said, okay, if I'm getting all of this from her free content, then I know that when I hire her, the experience is going to be incredible. And it also acted as a natural driver to leading people to my sales page, which is really big with your content. I am huge on creating content that is consistent, but that is also going to be valuable and that is going to help you to get sales. Because if not, then you're just creating content for absolutely no reason. And that's not what we want. So content is not dead. And I don't want you to let anyone tell you that. Content isn't dead, but it only works again if it's great content and if you are actually consistent with it as well. So today, again, I wanted to talk about the consistent piece, or what you need to be consistent when it comes to creating content. And I actually want to kind of walk you through what my consistent content process looks like. So the first step is to keep an idea bank. So this may sound super simple, but you will be amazed how many people don't do this. So an idea bank is exactly what it sounds like. This is a bank of content ideas that you may get on a whim, or that you may get when you read something that you're inspired by, or whenever someone asks you a question pertaining to your industry or what you do. This is where you put all of those ideas that you are not able to act on immediately. So this is important because the number one excuse that I hear with my clients when it comes to not being able to create content, or their lack of consistency with their content, is that they don't have enough ideas. And I want you to know that you have a ton of ideas. You just have to remember to write them down. A lot of people forget their ideas before they even get a chance to act on them, because they think that their mind is going to be able to hold everything, but that is not always the case. So I keep my content bank in ClickUp, which is like a project management system. But you can keep a notepad close if you're more a pen to paper person. You can use the notes app in your phone, literally whatever is going to work for you. But you just need to have something that you can reach for quickly whenever you have a new idea. Again, you are not at a lack of ideas. We have a million different, thoughts that run through our brain throughout the day. And I refuse for you to tell me that none of those thoughts that you have can't be good content ideas. So just make sure that you have a very specific dedicated place to be keeping your content ideas, so that when it is time for you to plan out your content, you're not sitting there like, I don't know what to say next, or I don't know what I should be talking about. So keep that bank handy. And that leads me to my second point as well. So you need to be planning for your content in advance, or planning and scheduling your content in advance, which is important, which is why it's important for you to have those content planning days, or maybe even content planning weeks. So for me, the last week of the month is where I reserve for content planning. So I don't schedule for anything extra outside of the norm. So I don't do a bunch of extra like calls with anybody. I'm not planning a bunch of things that are going to require me to leave the house. So this is a week that I dedicate to planning out my goals for the upcoming month. And it's also a week where I am mapping out all of my content pieces that are going to help me to hit those goals as well. So during that week of content planning, and sometimes it doesn't take me like a whole week, but I do plan for a week just in case. But during that week, I outline and record all of my podcast episodes. I plan out all of my newsletters for the month, and I schedule out all of my social media content for the month as well. So planning in advance is the number one way that you're going to be able to stay consistent, not just with your content, but like with anything. So if you get to a new week and you realize that you don't have a podcast episode, a social media post, or a YouTube video planned out, but then you also have all of these other obligations that are probably equally or even more important that you need to focus on, then more than likely the thing that's going to get pushed to the side is going to be your content. And it may not seem like a big deal, if you skip 1 week, which it's not, but 1 week can easily turn into 2 weeks. 2 weeks can easily turn into 3 weeks. And then the next thing you know, you have pretty much like ghosted your entire audience, and you haven't created any content that's going to lead people into going to your sales page, to signing up for your lead magnet, or whatever your goal is for that particular week or particular month. So your content is still one of the best drivers to your sales page, and one of the best ways to begin building that trust and authority with your audience. And the only way that you can do that is if you are consistently putting yourself out there. And when it comes to like planning out your content, another like excuse or like a issue that a lot of people typically run into is that they feel like they have to create every single day. If the idea of creating something every single day, or the idea of needing to be on, quote unquote, every single day is very overwhelming to you, maybe you have a busy schedule, maybe you have other obligations and things that are more important, I want you to focus on finding a content schedule that works for you and works for your life. I am never going to tell you to put your life on hold, to put your 9 to 5 on hold, to put your kids on hold, or whatever the case may be for the sake of staying consistent with your content. I'm saying to create a schedule that works for you and make a commitment to yourself to stick to that schedule. Whether it be you creating 1 blog post a week and 3 social media posts on Instagram, then you take that and run with it. Whether it's you creating a bi-weekly newsletter, you take that and run with it. My thing is you creating a schedule and then staying consistent with that schedule. But I will also say, creating 1 piece of content a month and then literally not doing anything else for the rest of the month is not going to work as well as you think. So definitely just think about creating a loose but structured schedule that is going to work for your life. All right, so step 3, also my favorite step, is to repurpose your content. So I know you're probably thinking, you have to create a lot of content in order to be consistent. And like I just said, that can be very overwhelming to people who don't have as many hours in their workday, as much as some others may. So the answer is no. You do not have to create something new every single day in order for you to stay consistent, or even in order for you to make an impact through your content. So outside of me doing these like Monday lives here, I only use 1 solid piece of content that can provide me a week worth of content. So 1 solid piece of content can provide me a week's worth of content. And that's really what I place my focus on. So I focus on 1 piece of content, which is my podcast. That's like my main piece of content that I generate revenue through, that I grow my audience through, that I really share all of me and share all of my gems through. So I focus on creating that 1 piece of content a week. And then I break that piece of content up to give me newsletters, to give me social media posts, or whatever else I may need to get me through until that next podcast episode. So on Wednesdays, my show actually goes live on Wednesdays. I will then pull quotes or points from that episode and break it up into daily Instagram or Twitter posts. And then that following Monday, after that episode goes live, my newsletter is actually centered around that previous week's blog or previous week's podcast episode. So I wait until the next Wednesday. I publish a new podcast episode, and I literally repeat the process over and over again. So I have a new podcast episode that goes live every Wednesday. I will pull quotes and points and aha moments from that podcast episode to create a little bit of storytelling around for my social media. I'll pull quotes from it. I'll, create quote graphics and things like that. And then on Monday, my newsletter is actually centered around that podcast episode as well. And then the following Wednesday, I do the same thing over and over and over again. So I am not creating a new piece of content every single day. That is exhausting. I have done that before I was married, before I had a child, when I literally had nothing but time on my hands, and that worked for me then. But now I have more responsibilities, as I'm sure you do as well. So figuring out how you can repurpose the main piece of content that you're creating without feeling like you need to create something new every single day. That is not necessary. And I can guarantee that if you haven't been consistent with your content, it's because you're doing the most and trying to create something brand new every single day. And that's great, again, if it works for you, but it isn't necessary. And 9 times out of 10, when you wrote that blog post and posted it on Monday, it's likely that more than half of your audience probably didn't even see it. That's just because of the algorithm, when people are online, and all of these different factors that come into play. If you post something on Monday, I can guarantee you not even more than half of your audience is going to see it. So think about how you can take that 1 piece of content that you create and maximize the amount of eyes that are getting onto that 1 piece of content. And literally, that is one of the easiest and best ways for you to stay consistent, is because it takes out the guesswork, it takes out the overwhelm, it takes out the excuse of not having enough time, and you're literally creating mounds of content from 1 piece of solid, really good content. So there you have it. That is my formula for staying consistent with your content. So number one, keep an idea bank close so that when you do have, these random questions that people are asking you, when you do have these random ideas, when, these random aha moments pop into your head, you have one central place for you to put it. Plan and schedule in advance. So how can you dedicate the last month or last week or last few days of the month to sit down and plan out your content for the following month? And then also repurpose your content. It can be repurposing old content that you published years ago, or just repurposing the one piece of main content that you're publishing each week. She says, yes, I feel like that's me. I just need to actually schedule time to go through the main piece of content and break it up into bite-sized pieces. Yes, Karina. Between me and you too, I will actually use my content planning time as almost like a self-care time. So I will, turn on Netflix, whatever show I have been catching up on or that I need to catch up on or something I have been wanting to watch. I will get cozy in my bed and I will chill out and I will create content and I will watch TV and, eat snacks. So it's really like almost a chill time for me to just sit down and just relax and like pump out some ideas. Thank you, Tiffany. How far in advance do you map content themes? So I try to do 90 days in advance. I don't necessarily plan out all of my content for those 90 days, but I like going into each quarter knowing what themes I'm going to be focusing on, each month. Yeah. So yeah, in a perfect world, I would sit down and plan out like 90 days worth of content. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm good at 30 days, but not a full 90 days. But I do like planning for the quarter. So I think about my content themes. And then I also think about like what marketing events I'm going to have during that time, where my focus needs to be as far as marketing. So am I in a season of growing my audience or am I in a season of getting more clients into the door? So thank you. That's a great question. I need to do that. I've gotten good with 30 days. 90 days would be so freeing in my business. Same. Maybe we can hold each other accountable. Maybe we can try that over the next 90 days. All right, you guys. So I know that I mentioned before that your content needed to be consistent and it needed to be great. But when I say great, I really do mean that your content needs to solve a small problem. You're not trying to solve, world peace or, hunger in the world with your content. You need to be able to solve a small problem with your content that your audience is experiencing. You need to help them to push past any hesitations or any objections that your audience may be experiencing. So anything that's going to stop your audience or stop your clients from believing that they can achieve what you're wanting to help them through, or anything that may be stopping them from investing in your offer. And then your content also needs to be the perfect next step to working with you. So that's what we show you how to do inside of the Purpose to Service Academy. So I teach you how to use your content in a way that's going to nurture your audience so that when it is time for you to launch your offer or maybe even open up your books to new clients, it's really going to be a no-brainer for your potential clients to be like, yes, I am ready to work with her. So if you want to learn more about the Purpose to Service Academy and how I show you how to use your content effectively and how to launch your signature offer, head over to purposetoservice.co. If you're watching this live, you can also click the link in my bio to learn more as well. Says, as a virtual assistant, I'm struggling to figure out what value-filled content I can offer. I'm not a coach or strategist. However, I do want to drive attention to my page. So think about your clients and what are some of the things that your clients are struggling with when it comes to, I'm just going to assume that you're helping other business owners, but think about some of the questions or some of the reasons why your clients are needing a virtual assistant, and maybe even some of the hesitations that may be stopping them from hiring a virtual assistant. Could it be that they are trying to do everything on their own? Maybe they don't know exactly what to hire a virtual assistant for. Maybe they don't know the benefits of hiring a virtual assistant. So thinking of things like that, or maybe it's on a broader scale where it's like they are just consumed with the idea of trying to figure out which project management system is going to be best for them and their team. So helping them through those kind of like hesitations, or helping them through those small bits of like objections that may be holding them back. So I would definitely go back to, if you do like an intake form or a questionnaire for your clients, go back and see what type of things that they've talked about, that they're struggling with, or that they said that they've struggled with, or the reasons why they have hired you in the past, and what tasks that you are accomplishing for them, and see how you can create content around that. I think that'll really be helpful. Let me know if that was helpful. So yeah, you guys, again, I definitely want to use this series as a way to answer any questions that you guys do have. You can consider this like our pick your brain session. But yeah, if you have any questions that you do want me to answer here on this Monday series, make sure you click the link in my bio to submit your question. If you're watching this on YouTube, I will put the link in the description as well. Yeah, no problem. I'm glad that was helpful. But all right, you guys, this has been fun. Don't forget to head over to purpose2service.co to learn more about growing your service-based or coaching business. And I will chat with you guys this week. Bye.